It's a privilege for Market to speak with you, Klaus Riskær, successful startup entrepreneur in Denmark and abroad. Can you tell me, how do you look at marketing today?
Well, marketing is going to change dramatically because markets will be driven by bottom-up processes. You're seeing it in the networked economy. You're seeing it in people enacting their skills and their influence in the commons, in the creative commons, in the open source. And that means that products will be exchanged without a price point. So the whole idea of putting a product to a market and selling it at a particular price, using a particular distribution network is already evaporating. But also in the production area, with 3D spaces, 3D printing developing, you will see that production will become distributed, and provision of products will change character, so that you will not provide the final product, but maybe you will provide prints so you can produce the correct product on the 3D printing. So the marketplace is changed in a sense that the market, as we know it conventionally, is being replaced by a market which is exchange-based without a price point.
So what do you think that will mean to marketing as a discipline?
Well, marketing will have to change for a lot of reasons. Not only, what I'm describing here is pretty well known. There's nothing new in that. But also we have to understand that the consumer will be identical to the innovator on the internet and the saver and the voter. And he will enact his influence on all platforms with the same kind of weights. The young generation is becoming increasingly more quality-oriented. I don't think they will leave the digital, but they're certainly replacing some of the digital lives with a very analog kind of existence, being quality-oriented, and they will also search more altruistic products and solutions and histories. The idea that a product is only selling at a good value is maybe will probably be challenged from providers who are also producing sort of value in a more general sense than just wealth for their owners. So I think the whole bar will be raised a little bit towards people who are companies who are in the marketplace. The consumer will expect a little bit more.
If you were to launch a new product, a new company right now, what would you say would be marketing must-haves for you?
A marketing must-have. As it is today, it has to be distributed. It has to be integrated into sort of the user base almost from the beginning. And with that requirement, you are automatically also establishing a certain level of virality and social existence. But marketing as such, where you are from the outside imposing a product and a product quality and a solution on the user, is increasingly becoming a very, very difficult exercise, as I believe the industry is already aware.
Could that mean that probably the bigger companies, huge companies, it will be more difficult for them to change than newcomers?
Well, it is certainly giving newcomers a different shot at whatever they do, because it's fairly easy today to develop and integrate. Of course, there are products which requires a very, very big production outlet and logistics and a very, very controlled supply chain, etc. That cannot just be replaced. But even those producers will have eventually to think about, who's the end user of these products? Where do we sell them by the end of the day? And if they are in the consumer business or consumer-related product areas, or services to consumers and private individuals, not into the B2B market, they will eventually have to, I think, start rethinking. How do we distribute, and how do we integrate, and how do we sort of align our own company and its social profile with that of our customers, because the customer will increasingly become altruistic. What we've seen in the social capital area, and we've seen in the free trade and all these altruistic projects, will sort of become much more extended. and there will be some sort of expectation that whoever provides something is sort of a good part of society. And the story of just putting out your annual report with a very huge bottom line and shareholder values and big dividends and share buybacks, those days will probably be challenged, because by the end of the day, many of your customers will see the provider as something more than just somebody who delivers a product. They want it to be delivered in a responsible way. They will probably search a certain level of peace and love, and people are changing these days. They don't want all these problems, and they want good stories.
Okay, you have your own book coming out now in Danish. I know. Is it in English too, or what it's called?
Well, it's right now being circulated by the publishers. It's called Social Capitalism, and it's describing this new handshake between the social and the capital. Because social is not clientele anymore, just searching for compensations from society. It is the altruistic social understanding, and the capital cannot only be driven by bottom lines. It will also be driven by value creation, and that will change eventually how the capitalist society is evolving. The market will be challenged from this, and market excesses will be counterweighted by new developments. It's very interesting, and it will take time. But we are moving towards sort of the phase 2.0 in the capitalist economy. And the old version and the neoliberalist version we have seen for the last 30 years has done its fair part of the game, and we are now moving into a sort of new integration of ideas and expectations.
I sense that you think it's a positive development going on.
Oh yes, it is, because we are moving into, if you move a society from just producing bottom lines into producing value, and if you integrate the public and the private into new targets and new aspirations, it will eventually allow for new growth. Growth in the developed economies is anemic. We have no growth in Scandinavia, and Europe is challenged to almost negligible growth. So if we need growth to sort of resurface, we have to use the resources, development resources and know-how and human capital in the private sector with the aspirations and finance and support of the public sector to establish completely new product specters which are established from the idea of just simply creating value, not necessarily bottom line profits from the beginning, and that is sort of changing the whole ball game.
Thank you very much, Klaus. Thank you.
Thank you.